The corporate tax training on voluntary basis to support the professional community about the new tax regime. This is the self-initiative, and I appreciate your participation to continue this journey. And that will be, I believe, if we finish this journey on the training, the most of us professional people, the working in different form in the accounting, in the consulting, in the small business, and they are running small business, they will learn about the corporate tax. And still, after having the session, all of the participants, they have to go and read the relevant the article or the relevant guideline that we are discussing on case to case, topic to topic. So today we will build our base. What is the corporate tax and what are the topic or what are the key area in the corporate tax that we will go through in the detail and later on one by one. But today we will have the framework and base that we have to, that is more important to understand before initiating the each topic one by one. Before starting, I shared one link in the WhatsApp group. Would you please join the link? And this is a small exercise that we will do during this session. On each session, maybe one time, two time, three time, and this will be mark your attendance also, and as well as your knowledge test also, a knowledge test in a sense to understand. This is not very important how much you aware about that. So you have to know, okay, what are the key areas in the corporate tax that will be affecting. So this is the most important. That's why we make these small exercises. The exercises, I shared first exercise in the WhatsApp group. Please take next 10 minutes and complete that, although it will be completed with less than 10 minutes. But still, would you please join the link and do this questionnaire? Once you submit the questionnaire, you will receive the email with the questionnaire output as well as the certificate for attendance also. We will start after 7 minutes. We will record all this, your question and queries. We will answer on that by as soon as possible. So because due to time is very short, so we will try to complete the session and deliver the most of things. But we will see your question also. The most after the session, the recording of the session, we will try to upload on the YouTube, and most of the people will have the access. So one of the key area of the corporate tax, that is the unrealized gain and losses, that is more important in the corporate tax return also. We already have the two-hour session and uploaded on YouTube. We will share the later on link also. That is most important. Most of the professional working in the year end, and they have to go through and spend some time and understand, because that help you to understand the year end closing and the impact of the such election. Regarding the notes, we will working on that. We will try to do the needful in terms of sharing the notes as well. But most important, you guys have to note down what are the applicable articles, and that you have to do as a self-study. And we will arrange after a couple of sessions the detailed discussion on such also, because we will share one link where you can upload your questionnaire, and the next session we will answer on that questionnaire. First 15 minutes we'll try to answer the previous session question, and then we'll continue the next session. Hope most of the people completed this quiz. Small quiz just for the exercise to be keep active in the session. Shall we proceed? Okay, let's start today's session. Part 1, the corporate tax timeline. So corporate tax registration timeline. The registration timeline, we will discuss in the overview of the corporate tax registration, because most of the time is the registration timeline already passed and most of the companies are registered. So corporate tax announced in 31st January 2022. And the registration open for the private and joint stock company is 15th May 23. So again, this is just for reference purpose. We are discussing we are discussing the most of the companies, the tax year from January to December. So if the first tax period is in January, so the tax period ending will be 31st December and the return will be due after the 9 months of the year end. So similar way, if the tax period is June to 31st May, accordingly, the first tax return will be due on 28th May 2025. The tax period for natural person is the Gregorian calendar year. So tax period for the natural person, there is no separate or the different tax period. So this is the by default the mark for the natural person Gregorian calendar year. That we will discuss in detail what are the other benefits for the natural person and compliances that required. Overview of the city law. Most of the company, as earlier I mentioned, the year end is changed to December and return is 31st September is 2025. Now 31st December is already over, but still the return for the companies is not yet open. So it will take some time. FTA will working on that. It soon it will be open, because this is the first year and it will maybe some IT related or something. They are working on that. It will be open soon. Now we have to see what is the tax rate in the UAE as per the corporate tax. So commonly people knows the 9% the corporate tax in the UAE. But if in fact the 9% is not applicable on all the industries, on all the companies. So the applicable, there is again different things that we will understand the 9% on most of the companies and the 15% on the MNEs, multinational entities. Then there is a free zone. The free zone is zero rated. Why the free zone zero rated? As part of the UAE initiative, they declared the free zone and they established the different free zone in the UAE. The free zone, we have one, maybe the two session, but more than two session, the detailed understanding of the free zone, what are the compliances, what are the qualifying income, what are the qualified free zone, and what are the de minimis rule. So this in detail, we will go in that topic. So here we understand the free zone that meet the condition based on the designated zone or activity, they will be fall under the zero rated. But still some activity, they not meet the condition or they subject to the 9%. We will discuss in detail. This is the comprehensive topic and most of the companies in a free zone, they are interested to understand the compliance about this. Let's say the next is the group of the UAE resident company. So as per the corporate tax, the companies, the first step to register as a individual companies under the city. Then they have to apply for the group of the corporate tax, in which the 95% shareholding is direct shareholding is required. Apart from that, other conditions are there. Now, city is a calculated, declared, and paid. As we're saying, here we're talking about the 9 return, corporate tax return. Now, the most of the professionals are working in the industry or the consultant. They are discussing with clients how to proceed for the year-end closing, because return is the second part here, the most important area. Mostly even the clients they approaching and the financial team are approaching to the consultants. They are talking about the corporate tax return preparation. But before that, the one key area, the return, whoever is prepared the return, if your financial statement is not prepared appropriately, if your financial statement not prepared appropriately as per the applicable IFRS and accounting standard, so your tax return cannot be accurate. And secondly, you cannot you cannot plan the corporate tax where you will comply the law and optimize the tax liability. To have the optimization of tax liability within the compliance, and which the compliance that is beneficial for the organization. So that have you go through in-house, and maybe the most of the big companies are the professional who are background from CA, ACCA, CPA, all other professional bodies. They understand what are the application of the IFRS. Again, the IFRS, we will see what are the applicable IFRSs, because IFRS, full IFRS, and the SME IFRS also is there. We have to go through that part also. Now, the next topic is, while discussing the corporate tax, the transfer pricing is the part of the corporate tax, the compliance and the documentation. That also will go through in that transfer pricing, how and what are the documentation is required, what are the compliance is needed, and what are the ALP rules, what are the transfer pricing method that will be helpful. There will be master file, local file. Most of the company have to maintain the master file, local file. Next is the participation exemption available. Participation exemption, if we understand the companies having the shareholding, they buy the shares of another company. Okay, so that we call the participation. The participation, because if you are part of the another company, based on the shareholding and based on the number of shares, you will get the dividend from that company. So now we have to see such dividend from that company is exempt or taxable. We will go through. This is the again roughly 3 to 4 session will be on participation exemption. Where the industry or the consultant are having such kind of clients, they knows how critical and how tricky area of this, how important to understand. So the filing will be 9 months from the relevant tax period end, and will be payable within the timeline. So here again, we just for reference purpose, we adding the fiscal year, fiscal reporting, and the city return date. So same December year ends from January to December. This is the fiscal reporting period, and then the return will be 9 months, that is 30th September. Such thing we are adding on number of time, because it's important to keep sharing the insight on that. If somebody have the question or the understanding to be clear, because mostly the corporate tax while registration, we seen the many companies, the most of the SME sectors, they did not register for the corporate tax, and they have the penalty of 10,000. Why? Because they are getting confused with the VAT. So they think there is a threshold to register, and here we do not meet the threshold. And most of the small companies, they are not familiar, and they don't want to be listen any of the professional or auditing company or who's provide such services. They are not directly touch with them, so they also did not understand, and they having the penalties. So every day that we are receiving the queries, okay, we have now 10,000 penalty for the late registration. Now what we do, we are receiving the daily basis, the emails and the messages from the FTA. Although this is the FTA by default from the system generated, the reminders are coming, but still they are worried. What is the way forwards if we can get the waiver on that run? So this is the important part we have to understand. The as part of the administrative penalties, the waiver normally is not be eligible. Some exception is there, but that exception is only the very difficult to prove that also in the reality base, but the normally the admin penalty get waived only when the FTA have the some ministry scheme. Based on that, if we remember the back in June 2021 or 22, they announced some amnesty scheme where they said pay the 30% and of the outstanding or the penalty amount, rest will be waived off. So in the worldwide also, when we see the new tax regime in the country is implemented, so the government, they give the support and the new regime, and they give flexible to the taxpayer, and after some time they will give the relaxation on that also, and the waive of the penalties also. And recently we seen the record update. Okay, so the record update, they give they waive the penalty. Earlier they most of the companies, they paid the 5,000 they because within 20 days, in case of any change in the shareholding and any legal status or any part of that, you have to update the FTA, but most of the organization not familiar with that rule, and they did not update. So now while doing the corporate tax registration, they found the record is not updated, and FTA applied the penalties on that. But now, maybe the last quarter, they give the relief on that, and they waive the penalties, and whoever paid, they return the penalty amount also. This is the announcement from there. So we do expect the waiver for the late VAT corporate tax registration. We are expecting as a part of new regime, FTA will do the reconsideration on that, and more likely it will be June or September, some notification from the Federal Tax Authority will be there. But still, it's the FTA decision how they will treat. But considering the overall framework and the worldwide, the new regime, we do expect this. Let's move to the next.